Hey guys, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Yes, it's Friday, and then in case you forgot, let me remind you guys that for the month of April, we have like 2 Fridays here. I will tell you how, don't worry. We have Friday as today. We also have another Friday on Monday. What that means is they are both weekends, and Monday is another public holiday, and we all are so happy to have holiday. Anyways, guys, Obio is back, and for those of you who have followed Obio like back to back, you understand that Obio is one person that if he's not dropping music, if he's not dropping the music video or doing content about music, Davido is in the business of helping others. Basically, as simple as that. If Davido is not dropping a project, a single, a man album, a music video, or just about music content that shows or thereabouts, yeah, you always discover that he will always be in the business of always be in the business of making people happy, putting smiles on people's faces. We saw where at the point he went, I think that was last year. So it was for the 30BG family. He went out, got like diamond chains for all of them, got them Cartier glasses. And trust me, if you know the price of one glass, like one, you will just shake your head like really that's expensive. But Davido is that person that knows exactly what to do with his money. Recently, he splashed about $1 million in one day, in one day. They don't make you question yourself like, what are you? Are you like hold on? But then Davido is that person that actually makes people laugh and all of that. Anyways, what he has done this time with $1 million, we'll get to see that shortly. Moving on, we'll begin with Davido, obviously. I was where actually dropped the Timeless Project 17 track, and then he has done good for that project. So on the third of this month, he was at the CBS Stadium to do his concert in Lagos State, having done the US and the UK. The Lagos State was like the third official concert was going to have first concert for the Timeless. UK and London were more like a show opening, so it was limited crowds and smaller spaces. But then the biggest one he has done for the Timeless is the TBS Stadium, about 50K capacity, and he did that amazing one. Amazing one. Ticket was sold for 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 3 million, 5 million, 7 million. People paid in different categories to have premium phone. Ashake came out, we saw amazing guys come outside, but then there are some names that were notably missing. Actually, for some persons, we thought that even if because Kibi came around, Kais came around, Spyro was around, and these are people that are so affiliated with the video. One person was missing, and it's making people ask questions. That is Keith Daniel. Keith Daniel, we so sure know that that at the time or thereabouts maybe showed support behind the scene, but obviously was not at the concert. Kubana also was not there, but then we have reports that Davido unfollows Kubana, and obviously Kubana also did likewise. We paid the favor also by unfollowing Davido. What is happening in that tent, we really don't know at the moment. And then moving on, so we announced is the North American tour to begin the world tour, and then begin on the first day of July, going to be Washington, Houston, Chicago, Boston, Toronto, and obviously 23rd of November, whatever that thing he postponed or the show he postponed last year is doing it again, bigger and better this time, called the Away Festival in Atlanta at the State Farm Arena. Davido, big ups to you on that one. We saw for the Park Festival on the 30th day of this month, that's about 2 days from now. Yeah, one day from now because tomorrow is Saturday and next day after tomorrow is his concert at the MVP Arena. He's going to be there, not just performing, but headlining that amazing show. Park Festival is an amazing one, and seeing Davido there just shows the fact that Davido really is doing good as we speak. I saw where talking about Morga, Israel making mess of himself, made a very big mess, and we saw where he took a lady's 800,000 naira to promote a business, of which he did not do that. Now you've collected money, you should at least do the list, basically do the basics, promote it out. That's like the least you could do. But Israel did not do any of that. Instead, he kept on blocking the lady's number, blocking the number. Whenever she tries to reach out to Israel, Israel was always blocking the lady's number, and the lady came online to rant about it. Obviously, Davido saw it, and maybe that could have been the reason why Davido unfollowed Israel in the first place, because we showed that Davido has unfollowed Israel on Instagram. So could that be the reason? Maybe or maybe not. But what we know is that Davido actually has refunded the lady 800,000 naira. Davido refunded it back to her. And it just takes you back to when he said, you know what, for this year, I don't want stress, I don't want drama. What I want is family, business, and career, basically. Family, music, and business. So no dramas. And if you're bringing drama to stable, he might have to let you go. For Israel, we don't know if he has let him go, but what we are sure is that he has at the moment unfollowed Israel on Instagram. Maybe when all of this is over, we're going to get him back, whatever it is, but usually he made a mess of this one. Moving on, we saw Davido splashing about 553,000 US dollars on this Maybach vehicle. Amazing one for Davido. Worthy of note is the fact that this car is so limited in such that it is only made in I think in about 150 I think all over the world we have just 150 of this vehicle, only 150. That's 150 pieces of this vehicle, and Davido has bought one for himself. And this is like the 2023 model, and Davido has left has made it become 149 out there. So what it means is another 149 persons in the world can actually go and pick one of these if they want. So limited edition. What I think we're about 7 billion plus in the world, and one person having and the company is doing just one. That's a ratio of about 0.00000 something to one, and they do that miss those people that have this one. It's a big one for him, and we say congratulations to him on that one. We saw where Tunji, his cousins, actually celebrated his birthday. And like I said, they always make people happy. And then we saw where he gifted his cousin uh, a Rolex wristwatch worth in millions of naira, millions of naira. Arguably, for some persons, about 30 million naira plus of gift to one person on his birthday. Big one to him. We also saw where they've just splashed for his birthday celebration. So they've actually taken him out, and then I'm showing a receipt of spending about 35,000 US dollars on birthday. He said 35K on birthday move, and they said birthday I love you Atunji. So he's saying he spent 35,000 US dollars on his cousin's birthday and said they love you at Tunji. 35 US dollars to naira, 10,000 US dollars is about 7 million. So that's about do the maths. That's expensive. That's expensive. That's like a whole massive one. That's close to about almost 20 million naira for drinks and vibes. It just shows how much Davido really comes through for his friends whenever they need him, or his family whenever he's needed at the time. So one of the online in-laws basically actually asked Davido saying, Davido, where is Chioma? Davido replied saying, Chioma is in her husband's house. Perfect answer for funny questions. Some questions you should not ask. But if you want to ask questions, he will give you the answer you deserve. So he's saying, if you want to know, she is in her husband's house, obviously his house. Moving on from that, we saw Davido, as it were, he called him the clean boy, Davido house boy, our house help basically. Now, Davido asked about church at the point. He came out to say he used to use a phone and if in his phone at the time, and the phone was actually broken, and then he told his boss the predicament, and he said they've actually gifted him not an iPhone 6, not 14, I mean not 13, not 11, not X, not 12, not 13. They've just gifted him an iPhone 14 Pro Max. I'm actually worth about 1.1 million, 1.1 million naira for just for being the house help. It just shows how big this guy is. Even though he's so big on help, big on giving, big on making people laugh. And obviously, it is the turn of the houseboy or the house help to be getting about a phone worth about 1.1 million naira. Amazing one for him, and it just shows that everybody in Davido's team is winning regardless. Moving on, we saw Davido actually getting himself a wristwatch. That this was coming after he got himself a Benz. So it's actually like so far because of a Benz worth about 500,000 plus US dollars because of a wristwatch. He got his cousin a wristwatch at the same time, and then we saw where he got that one, and then accumulatively he spent about 1 million US dollars. Not even for not the cousin is not included. So the car is worth about 530,000 US dollars, and then he bought the Patek Philippe for about 400,000 US dollars. That's about one that's about $1 million, about 7.5 million naira a day. Bro, that's big. That's big. That's big. Patek was about 400,000. The best was about 530,000 US dollars. It just shows Davido really, really, really supports. And then the tag on this was when he said, I like spoiling myself. I work hard and I deserve it. Obviously, if you work so hard, you should spoil yourself. 1 million Gwen in a day for flexing and cruise. It just shows that really. And then the price just dropped barely a month, yeah. And then he has worked so hard in that month. He really needs to get himself like some nice treat. And they're not doing all of this. Just shows he really knows what to do when it comes to spending. At the same time, we saw where he made a video making fun of Asa saying they have always begged Asa to get a wristwatch. Asa will never get one. Then he said recently, Asa also got himself a Patek wristwatch at the same time. So it's more like everybody's winning. Davido's watch is worth about 400,000 US dollars. Asa's wristwatch, we don't know the price yet, but we're sure that he also got himself a Patek. and it shows everybody is winning on that team. Moving on, we saw Davido's back to his project actually, and Davido's no competition has crossed 5 million streams on Spotify, an amazing one for him. We saw DMW 2.0. Now this is actually dicey because now we are now it's a bit confusing because for they had a note when they had the 2.0 and then they made a note that seems like there was an established team already and then these guys were joining the team. But what we see at the moment is that Davido 2.0 is bigger than ever, stronger than ever, and the names mentioned were Moravi, Logos Olori, and Davido. As they disposed the rest? Really, all of these questions, I think we should have answers to them. Davido, in no time, I'm sure, is going to give us proper response and proper documentation on who and who is not on the DMW 2.0. But what we are sure is 2.0 include the likes of Logos Olori and Moravi, and obviously the boss himself, Davido on that one. Davido actually had a tweet saying, "I am happy." Now that this is coming from a place of no bad vibe, no bad vibe. Just say, just tweeted and said I'm happy, basically. So you cannot just think of whatever will make a man happy. He is all of that at the moment, saying at this point, I am so happy with myself. Anyways, moving on, we have Rema as the next guy on the news. You saw where Rema Indian tour is going to begin on 12th day of May and going to span through 14th day of May. And North American tour has been announced. The date also has been announced, and cities is going to be visiting also have been announced. And moving on, we saw where he promised us on Tuesday saying Charm will be out on Friday, and then on Wednesday he said Off will be out on Friday, and on Thursday he said Don't Know Me will be out on Friday. So 3 days, three different announcements, and before now you had like two projects doing good talking about holiday and so people are like okay so if that's about five are you doing an album or an EP or what is it exactly you want to do at the moment. People were not really sure about what Rema had up his sleeves at the time, but anyways I saw where Rema became eligible for 7 platinum in Canada at the time, and obviously it was certified platinum twice in Poland, and obviously talking about what he was planning to do, what he had up his sleeve. Rema announced that the Rave and Roses now have an Ultra. So we have Ultra Rave and Roses. Initially, it used to be about 17 track on that one, but then adding five to it means that it's about 22 track at the moment. Amazing one. And inclusive of Divine, Dirty, Hold Me Back, Soundgazing, Calm Down, Time and Affliction, Joe, Mara, Love Addicted, Are You There, Fine, Oroma Baby, Carry, Wine, Run Away, Charm, the new one, Don't Know Me, new one, Holiday, new one, Reason new one, Of, new one, and obviously Calm Down with Selena Gomez made this cut, and they said that is the entirety of Rema, Rave and Roses Ultra. So all along it was an ultra, not an album. Remember, you do this one. Nah, leave it. Remember, you do this one. And yeah, this album dropped like barely midnight. You will not believe. It's going to be shocking to you that album that's barely it's about is it 12 o'clock yet? Barely, I'm not sure. But an album that is barely 12 hours old has amassed amazing records for himself. At the moment, he's on number two on the Nigeria Apple Music Top Album charts, leaving Davido as timeless to number one, and Whiskey dropped to number two, and amazing one for him. Um, album that's less than 12 hours old, less than 12 hours old. Let me remind you, album that is less than 12 hours old has amassed about 1.2 billion streams on Spotify. Less than 12 hours old. That's a big project. That's a big achievement. And actually, Rema debut album, Rema Rose Ultra, has surpassed 1.2 billion streams on Spotify. It became the first African album to hit 1 billion streams and the most streamed African album ever. Big one, big one, big one. Let me remind you, the Ultra is barely 12 hours old. Obviously, we have cumulative streams from previous projects, from Calm Down Remix and all of that. But what it just stands, the record still stands that it became the first African album to hit 1 billion plus streams on Spotify. And it's still counting, really still counting. And then moving on, we have Burna Boy on the news. We saw Burna Boy at the point where Nafi came out to say Burna Boy album is ready, and then for the next 2 hours was listening to that project, it was nodding his head. So the question is, how many songs do you have in that album for you to vibe to it for 2 hours? Just keep guessing. And then moving on, we saw Burna Boy Love That Many album have surpassed 680 million streams on Spotify. Big one to Burna Boy. And now the breakdown of this is Burna Boy Solid have surpassed 14 million streams on Spotify. Burna Boy Wild Dreams have surpassed 20 million streams on Spotify. Burna Boy Secret have surpassed 35 million streams on Spotify. And obviously Kilometer have surpassed 39 million streams on Spotify. Obviously, we're not talking about Last Last and amazing projects that have done good numbers on that project. Burna Boy really is achieving this thing. Like, funny how he's becoming a statue, like a very big statue in the industry. Like bit by bit, he's putting himself there and cementing himself in the conversation. We have Fireboy Damola as the last guy of the news. Moving on, we saw where recently Fireboy was actually locked up in the studio with Eskelebe. You know that is Odumodu Black, and obviously, like tell you, whenever two artists come together, they make a music, and we are waiting to see what these two guys have in store for us. Moving on, we saw Fireboy promising us that new music out soon, and people have been waiting to see that because initially, from like January to this point, people should have dropped rather. People expected that some artists should have dropped projects like of Olamide, Whiskey, Davido, like of them. But then one person that people want to see that project also is Fireboy. And the question is, why have you not dropped it? But he's saying, I'm going to drop this one very, very soon. And this time, no date yet, just the fact that he's going to drop it very, very, very soon. We saw him and Davido linking up at the point, and it's it's more further speculations that are you making an album? Because obviously we've seen with Eskelebe, we're seeing with the video and all of that. Odomodo Black is Eskelebe, by the way. And artists meeting artists, all of this. Is that a collaboration or a conversation about music or a talk thereabout? So with all this collaboration and meeting, are we expecting an album anytime soon? Fireball, we sure know that he really knows and really loves to drop projects like in albums and all of that. But we're yet to get statement on that from Fireball's department. Moving on, we saw where he actually came out to announce that yes, on the 3rd day of May, I'm dropping my new music. And we saw Fave in the comment section saying, spoiler alert, Fireboy is featuring me on that one. Why will you spoil it for us? Like, you should have just the fact that he didn't put your name there shows that he wanted to keep it in suspense. But Faith will not keep him out to herself. And then she's saying, I want to spoil it for you guys. Spoiler alert. I am going to be on that project. And obviously, it's now Fireboy and Faith dropping on the 3rd day of May. Guys, you cannot wait. For Faith, she actually knows. She's so good that the way you know how good Faith is, listen to Kante. Just listen to Kante. You just this girl's gone. She's that amazing. And Fireboy really vocally, sound person, amazing, doing good for himself. Fireboy and Faith, FF is gone. We are waiting for see that one 3rd day of May. Let's see what that one actually will sound like. Anyways, moving on, we saw Fireboy Playboy album has hit about 300 million streams on monthly. Amazing one for Fireboy as we speak. Recently, Fireboy, DJ Spinall, One Cole, Olamide, Any Money were in the studio actually making music. Will this song be on Fireboy's album? Will it be on Olamide's album? Will it be on One Cole's album? Will it be a DJ spin-off project? Now it's confusing because all of these persons we're expecting projects from them, especially Olamide and One Cole. We're expecting a project from them. Olamide is supposed to drop an album. One Cole is set to drop an album like next month. Fireboy, people expecting to drop an album at the same time. DJ Spinall, obviously, he loves to feature people. So who has this project? And that's the question we are still making our heads come to terms with. Who really, really owns this project, this song? Who is the owner of this song? Is it Fireboy? Is it Olamide? Is it One Cole? And is it the Espino? Or maybe any money? All those questions, I'm sure they will have answers to it in no time. Anyways, guys, we've come to the end of this amazing one, and we can't wait to catch you guys on the very, very next one. Today's Friday. Go out and have premium and maximum fun. I love you guys.